I'm still looking for marriage.
Okay.
You know, I want that experience. I want that partnership. I want that security. I want to be able to build with that person too as well.
Yeah.
So that's where my mindset is through that experience. Okay, if I'm in a relationship and you're living here and I'm living there and you
Right.
choose to live here with your own independence and I do, that's just looking at it like we're just dating for me.
Yeah.
I personally am in a space where I am talking from a unit of one. Let's build one. You know, and you can have yours, I can have mine. Let's put them together. Let's mesh them together.
What about you, Brian?
I think as one, after a while, I don't know, saying it lightheartedly, packing up a little overnight bag for a weekend stay, going back and
It's
back and
tiring.
back and forth. After a while, if you know she the one and she know you the one and y'all doing everything as one, make it one.
Yeah.
I mean, that is that simple. But I go back to something Mark said earlier. It's aligning your values. You can't be one until the values are aligned.
Welcome to the Wisdom and Bloom podcast. My name is Kamisha, and I am here with my lovely co-host Denise. And on our podcast, we talk all things women over 40. And today we are quite excited because we are talking relationships from a male perspective.
Absolutely.
Now, who has been waiting to hear from the males?
Absolutely. Me.
So we are very excited to welcome our beautiful guests today, our handsome guests.
Yes.
Thank
Mark
you.
And Brian to share their experiences, their thoughts, and all the things around relrelationships.
Yes.
So we are going to start first with some introductions, and then we are going to dive into the conversation.
Diving.
Are you ready, Denise?
We ready? Y'all ready?
Are you sure you're ready?
I'm ready.
Ready.
I cannot wait to hear what's going to happen. I'm ready.
Everybody's ready. All right. Let's start with Mark. Mark Sturdivant believes that growth is the evolution of starting, restarting, or changing your mindset on an ongoing daily basis. His true call is to empower people to strengthen communities. As a Washington native, he began his academic and athletic career by attending Springbrook High School and earning a full athletic scholarship to the University of Maryland. Go Terps!
Terps high five. Yeah.
As a student athlete, Mark earned many honors. He was co-captain of the Terps team, first team All-ECAC, preseason All-American, and drafted by the Miami Dolphins. Okay.
All right.
I love that. Personal, professional, and family experiences have helped shape him in his current catalyst for positive change to inspire and empower individuals to unleash their full potential, overcome challenges, set ambitious goals, and achieve their dreams. He has served as a school administrator in the DMV public and charter school system for over 15 years and has loved every minute of working with today's youth and coaching adults to be more restorative, equitable, and culturally connective. I love that, Mark. I
like that. That's pretty good. Good.
Yes.
You make it sound, hey, Kamisha, you make it sound even better though. I'm like, God, you making it sound really good. I'm saying like, wow, okay.
It's all you. I'm just reading it. He has developed his own company, Sturdy, short for his last name. Success, it stands for Success Takes Ultimate Resilience, Determination, and Inspiration. Sturdy's vision is to create an equitable world where people at any age are motivated to take action, step out of their comfort zones, change mindsets, and pursue their passions with unwavering determination to create meaningful impact in their lives and the lives of others. Oh my God, I love that. Mark. That's so amazing.
Thank you.
On the heartstring.
Yes, I know. I love it. Thank you so much for joining us today, Mark.
Thank you.
And And we have Brian Royal, a dear friend and brother of mine. And I'm so glad that he's with us today. He is originally from Virginia. He relocated to Maryland in 2018. Brian is divorced, but he is a father of 5 adult children, ranging from, get this, because he doesn't look 40 himself, but his children are ranging from 41 to
Thank you.
27 years old. And he is a lifetime fan of the Dallas Cowboys, and we won't hold that against him. I know, Mark. I know.
I almost
Mark.
fainted in my chair.
I know. He killing us. He killing us. He killing us. And he loves the Boston Celtics. He has a degree in business management, and he graduated summa cum laude. And most of all, he is a veteran like me. He served many years in the United States Air Force, and we're so grateful for his service. And Brian Royal says that he would love to tell women to live their true selves. He means to ladies not to ask or tell others what they want unless they are truly ready for the adventure. Basically, we only have one life, and we stop letting others dictate how we live our life. He finds that more times than not, the distractions come within and far less from the outside. Welcome, Brian. Welcome, Mark. We are so grateful that you guys are here.
Thank you.
This is amazing. You're on the Wisdom in Bloom podcast, and we are rolling out the red carpet for you.
Yes, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much. This is going to be such a great conversation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And
I agree.
I kind of want to start with something that was shared by you, Brian, that I heard here in your bio, where you said women shouldn't share what they want unless they're ready for it.
Ready for the adventure is what he said. Ready for the adventure. That caught me too. That caught me too. So talk to us a little bit about that.
What does that mean?
Well, first of all, we all, and I'm gonna be make sure I put my disclaimer out there that I know everybody won't agree with me, so I'm gonna give it to you from my perspective.
Everybody don't agree with us.
Sitting in conversations, when you're sitting in let's say a social environment, women normally like to tell you what they want,
Mm-hmm.
but they're a lot slower to tell you what they bring.
Mm.
And when you get into that conversation, did I say something?
No,
go ahead. Keep going.
I'm Southern. I'm Southern. I'm Southern, so I'm an implant to the Northern women, and it's night and day.
Yeah.
Southern women, from me growing up, deal with men doing it all, and the mentality is the man do this, the man lead this, the man lead this, and all this. Northern women, y'all don't need us, y'all choose us, because y'all already doing what you do, and so when I come in the door, if you allow me in that door, I have to come correct. But you got to be ready for what I'm bringing with me too. You can't sit there what you want, because God gonna bless you with something that you're looking for, and then you ain't ready. So prepare yourself before you go out looking for whatever it is that you're looking for. And that's it. And most of us don't take the time. Most of us, in my opinion, and especially, and this coming from me, is understanding yourself first to be able to. You can't expect somebody else to understand you if you truly don't understand yourself.
Yeah.
So that's where I look. That's the way I come from with it.
Well, I think that one of the most powerful things you said is that women love to tell the male what they want, but they're slow to say what they're going to bring to the table. Now, I thought that was a powerful statement, because I never looked at it like that, because women are bred to be natures. We're always given. We may not verbalize that we're giving, but we're always giving, Mark, how do you see that? What is your take?
what Brian said can go in so many different areas, so many different directions. And I'm
For
sitting here, was getting ready to just jot down thoughts that I have. But I think the main thought that stuck out was that, Brian talked about Southern women. My mother's a Southern belle.
I'm a Southern woman.
Yeah. Very nurturing, very caring, still have a sign of independency, but has a confidence that does not have to be spoken about. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
I got that.
Now that I have been in the DMV area, women have been more affluent, they've been more independent, and they do take care of themselves. And the point that I think I want to put is that they have lost the aspect of the nurturing. They have lost the aspect of not necessarily bringing something to the table like material or financial,
right?
But bringing their real self to the table. I think it's hidden. I think it's covered up under everything that the independency has shown. Especially, this might touch a chord, especially with Black women. The independency that they have had to endure, that when I go to date or try to find a relationship, especially a new one, it's really tough to break that mold because they're on the defensive all of the time. They don't show their true self, and I'm showing my true, authentic self. But if you're on, it could be if they're saying this is what I want to be married, I want to have a long-term relationship, I want to have this, they're not showing that at all.
Well, what do you mean?
They're not showing it, huh?
What do you? Okay, so
or I'm sorry, or I'm not to cut you off. Or there's so many layers and barriers that you got to break through to get to the point. It's like they don't. The trust factor is not there, and you've put yourself there as a male so much that it gets to the point where, like, golly, when am I going to get something in return? And I think that's not where you're bringing to the table, but you have to bring that emotional side to the table, especially for a man. For me, like, there has to be a certain type of nurturement.
It's powerful to say that I'm bringing to the table that I want to get married and I want to become a wife, but I'm not bringing wife qualities to the table. I think that's what I'm hearing too. Brian, I'm sorry I cut you off. What were you saying, Brian?
Not being from here, kind of more like an implant, not a true northern, even though we right across the line from each other, but being from the southern part of Virginia. Some of the things, it goes right into you guys' title of dating over 40, dating over 50. Some of the problems that have been created is two-sided. One, if you're going statistically by numbers and the number of men versus the number of women have in one sense allowed us to be a certain way. And they've kind of like transitioned to that's the way it is and that's the way it's gonna be because that's how it's always happened. On the other side of that, the longer you stay by yourself, the more you get settled into your own type of how you do things. And then you want that relationship, but you don't want to share all the qualities, thoughts, ideas, because something simple.
Yeah.
Well, Ryan, it's spoke of, but it doesn't happen.
Right.
But it doesn't happen.
And then I think the mistake that y'all make a lot, and this one, Mark, you helped me out with this one. Y'all confide in a bitter woman about your concerns about relationships. Stop talking to negative women.
You said confide in a bitter woman or a negative woman. Okay, I got it. Say it again, Brian.
A negative woman. Misery loves company. The last thing somebody that's by themselves want to be is by themselves. So they love you to be with them in the same boat. The minute you try to find something different, they'll find more faults in myself or Mark than the woman that you're trying to build a relationship with, because it's like somebody trying to lose weight, but your friend over there eating cupcakes and everything in front of you all the time and not supporting you, but trying to see you fail and give bad advice. I mean, that friend is single for a reason. You know, and all of it. And the thing that I'm probably way ahead right now.
No, you're fine.
Everything that look good ain't good for you. I done seen some beautiful women and that's it. The shell. They have no substance. Old, young, 20-something-year-old Brian don't care. I'm in. You know, that's it.
that was one of my questions too.
Yeah, 20-something-year-old Brian, 18 to 30, military running around. She cute, she like me. We don't gauge it that way at that age. But as we grow and mature, we start looking for values because we got more life behind us than in front of us. The things that used to be thought of as casual is more important. Riding a bike when you're 30 versus riding a bike when you're 60. There's different purposes when you're riding 30 than when you're doing 60. The long walks, the exercise, and the getting to more doctor's appointments on time, all that stuff, because you want your health as you, hey, who wants somebody that need a cane or a walker? I mean, if that's all I'm gonna bring to you is a cane and a walker and about 17 medications that I need you to fill, you don't want me.
Right.
You might end up with me from over a lifetime, but you trying to pick me up on a Friday night probably ain't gonna happen. Cause I ain't nowhere anyway but at home because I gotta be resting.
Well, okay. Aside from the resting,
Brian, you went like
I know he threw in all kinds of stuff. He's like the friends and the resting and the health and the the this and my doctor's appointments and all these things.
All right, I'll stay on one subject. I'll line my stuff up.
You know what? I think it's true. You're saying you don't want to be a burden, but I was gonna say to Mark, okay, I hear all this stuff that Brian is saying, but that doesn't stop our 50 and 60-year-olds from dating these 30-year-olds. They're still out there dating them 30 and them 35 and them, they still doing it.
Yep.
So you get what you get, and
that's
you don't throw a fit.
I'm gonna comment on that one.
I want you to.
I will say this.
Hear it.
I am I'm a victim of an age gap relationship. Okay. There's pros and cons to it.
Are you still in that relationship?
I am not.
Okay, go ahead. Talk about
That's why he can say he was a victim. Because if he was in the relationship, I don't think she would.
I just wanted to be clear because I don't want to.
No. There's some pros and cons towards an age gap relationship. And I think it goes back to where sometimes women look at an age gap relationship as that man is not mature enough to handle quote unquote a real woman.
Can I ask what was the age gap?
15 years.
Okay.
So when you say woman, you're 15 years older, and then people are saying you can't handle an older woman, you'd rather deal with a younger woman.
No,
I'm just trying to clarify.
I'm saying is this. I think within an age gap relationship, some men seek out, sometimes things just happen. In my situation, it just happened. You understand? And I think when that happens, that means it's more true. Some men usually seek out a younger woman based upon the fact of, hey, we can mold a little bit better. It's going to be fun. Older women are a little more set in their ways.
As Brian has mentioned,
aspect of it. It could be a whole host of different things that a man might be more attractive to a younger woman.
But what made you a victim? Because you said
the word victim, I didn't mean quote unquote victim. Like I just got crushed by it.
It wasn't the relationship you were hoping it to be. It didn't.
Yeah, it was organic in terms of the meeting.
Right.
But it didn't work out based upon some of the experience. Well, I wouldn't even say the experience, but some of the core values that I possessed that she did not possess, or some of the experiences that she might have wanted to do, that I've already done, that I was just like, wow, I don't feel like recreating those experiences again. And
So
then we were,
you feel like that age gap became not all of the issues, and I'm using the word issue very loosely,
yeah,
because I don't know the circumstances. But do you think that age gap contributed a little bit to misunderstandings within the relationship?
I think it comes through. No, I don't. I think relationships, and this is my perspective. I think relationships need to be talked about. I think boundaries and everything need to be established off the jump. To see whether you're evenly low. Nobody's perfect in a relationship, but to see whether your vision is aligned, and then go with that. Because in relationships, people grow apart, they come back. Sometimes, it's a give and take, but it can't just be one-sided all the time. It just can't be like, oh, and I'll say this in an age gap relationship, oh, a man over 50 who might date somebody 35, well, the 50-year-old should be more established and take care of everything.
Right.
That's not correct in a lot of ways, because that 50-year-old man might have gone through some things to build himself up to where he is. It's about the alignment of bringing things together to build up in a relationship, to make things work. So it
Let
can't
me
be
ask this.
that's even with a woman that's over 45 or 50, but the only difference between like a 45 or 50-year-old might be more established. Now you're bringing something like a financial stability, and or like, hey, I own a home. Well, I own a home too. So let's build this home and let's go together. That's kind of like where things might be a little bit more aligned. But
Well, I've heard a couple of things about values. Values need to be aligned. Brian said it.
hands
And,
down.
you said it as well. Values
They
need to be
both said it.
aligned.
Yeah. So it's
How,
got to be an important thing.
yeah, how do you learn if you all have aligned values? And when is the right time to have these conversations, right? Because you also just said, Mark, we have to make sure we have the same vision. Well, if you're just, dating a person, you're on date 2, 3, 4. I mean, when do you actually start having these conversations to get to the core? Or maybe at this age you start right away because you're trying to weed out people. You ain't got time, to be sitting around for
It's so
years.
funny you say that. So I was thinking about it when I was just thinking about it before I was coming on. To be fully transparent, one, when you're having the conversations. Two, what I would do differently, or what I am going to do different in the future, I'm going to do more couple-centered activities that these conversations kind of arrive naturally. Like, hey, go on a couples retreat. Let's see what's going on. Like a fun date, not just having a fun date and walking around and, hey, we're picking apples, but I'm talking about let's do like some intense work and then have some fun too as well. So you're getting some of that maximum conversation out of that maximum vulnerable conversation that somebody can help facilitate or help push towards to. Because sometimes I would say as men, we get caught up in an aspect of, it could be looks, it could be something different, not just where we are in a relationship. And I'll put that on me, myself.
What do you think, Brian? What do you think? How and when do you think you should approach those conversations when you're dating?
I think part of it is organic. 60 years of being around, something's going to show themselves without you asking. And then, of course, I just feel like we're at that point I think it starts when you feel like you don't want to date number 2 or number 3. You really want to focus on her. So if you decide that you're going to put that focus on her, I say
it's time to have.
I wouldn't do it in the first week or two. The first week or two is that cloud 9 stuff, that cloud stuff when you floating around. But as you
better than me, Brian.
Floating around picking your apples.
There's no more cloud 9 in it. We don't have time to waste on cloud 9 right now. Exactly.
But my whole thing is, a lot of times it doesn't. I can tell if there's something enough there or enough not there to
even have that conversation.
The first 5 to 10 minute conversation, I know because either I or she gonna say something that I ain't got time. See, I'm like the values. You can't go in there trying to make a person change. Women tend sometimes to say, I know he ain't exactly this, but I can mold him into it. At 61, I'm molded. You know, this is kind of what it is. I can compromise to certain things, but I'm also to a point in my life where I know that there some things are no, period. And if that's something that's important to them, but it's not important to me, I'm not at that point anymore where I'm gonna make those type of changes. I don't really look at it from I look at values more of communication, compromise, and quality time. I don't really think a lot about the financial aspects of it at any point, because God has blessed me in ways that I couldn't imagine. And it doesn't take a lot for me, you know, for have a quality of life. And, you know, like most men, we do a lot of things because that's what our women like. But you could put me in a 1-bedroom with a bathroom and a kitchenette, and I'd be just fine. But again, that's not what she's gonna be comfortable with. But the values, I just feel like communication. I just think technology has ruined communication on a natural level. On a natural level. And I went off again,
even
but
for people
that's
older.
it. I'll stop right there until the next one.
So I think Kamisha has a question to piggyback on that, but I have another question on that technology as well. What were you saying, Kamisha?
Well, I mean, I have a couple of things to say, but
I know. I felt it. I felt it.
Well, I mean, I feel like you know, relationships at any age, I think, are interesting. Okay, they can be very interesting.
Right.
And I did appreciate what you said, Brian, about women looking at men as a potential. You know, they want to date their potential. They want to marry their potential. They like see that they can be something else, or they see they can be more, or they see that if only this, if only that, they would be perfect. Or they'll even stick around with them waiting for that thing or those things to like change and work themselves out. And I like to, you know, tell my women friends that you can't date potential or marry potential. You have to assume that that person is never going to change. And if that person never changes anything about them, because you don't know that they will. I think women have a tendency. Excuse me, can I have the floor?
You got it. I'm just saying that. I'm gonna write this.
I believe that women.
Mark got a bullet in the.
I believe, I'm gonna give you a turn. I believe that women, in contrast to men, are more likely to do that. I think men are more about, you know, either she meets my criteria or she doesn't.
Or she don't.
That's it. Either she meets it or she doesn't. Whereas women are more lenient. Like, you know, they
like
give
we can
more
fix
time, they give more room, they feel like they can make a big change in this person where maybe the other woman, you know, she never understood
do it.
Kind of thing. Yes. That's what I mean by that. And I'm not saying that men can't change and that men don't change. I would like to believe that we're always growing and learning and men are changing. But that's not the case for all men or women, right? It's not the case for all men or women. And I think that if you are going into a relationship thinking that this person is going to be something else, you might be setting yourself up. Unless this is a person that you can already see is a person who loves learning and growing and, you know, they're moving and doing all of these things where you're like, yeah, they're definitely going somewhere. But if they're not going anywhere and they're just sitting there and you're like, oh, but, you know, if I shine him up, he's going to be really great at this thing. Like you just setting yourself up. And I think, you know, men don't tend to do that as much, but maybe you're about to tell me something different. But women do, and they stick around a long time in relationships that they probably should have let go of, waiting for something different to happen with their partner.
Yeah.
So
what were you gonna say, Mark?
so
Mark is holding on to that pen, boy.
No. I'm really trying to think of the order. You know, I'm gonna throw some religion in it. The order what God wanted. So a woman derived from a man. Okay.
Okay.
That woman in biblical terms, and y'all can quote me if I'm saying something out of order, is from the rib, is that support person for that man, right?
Okay.
I this is my view. I'm not saying a woman should stay in a relationship that is abusive, verbally or physically or anything. But what I am saying is that a woman has so much power and potential to enhance a man, to maximize him for what that woman would need for herself. I think that's where the potential aspect comes in. I'm saying that for me personally, if I had a woman to empower, just talk, I don't need anything but to talk life, to empower, to support, to say be a cheerleader. Oh my gosh, I'll go through the roof. You know what I'm saying? I would go through the roof for her and for myself. Because I know I already have that gene in me that I'm going to maximize my potential daily, every day. But when there's days and times where it's not there, I need that supporting cast, which is a woman or a girlfriend or a wife, to be like, yo, baby, you got this. And then if you got that, or that's verbally said with potential, or the potential of me being successful somewhere, getting that job, going on my own entrepreneurial business, whatever it may be, and I feel like I'm not doing it on my own, I would love that person beyond belief.
Yes.
I mean,
see, so we are saying the same thing, because you are talking about a person who already has, well, in this case, you're talking about yourself. So you're talking about a person who is already ambitious and who already has goals and who already has something, a vision for their life.
So then you're saying there's a lot of men
I'm talking
out there that
about,
don't have that?
I'm talking about, there are some that don't have that, Mark. Even at your age, even at, this age, they are happy wherever it is that they are. And there are women, like you said, who feel like they are bringing more success, to the table, if you will. And they want a man that might at least be striving for a little bit more in their life, whatever that more is for them, right? Maybe that's.
Do you think that could be the case why men date younger women, because they're not as established and they can see that potential in that man?
The young women?
Yeah.
I don't think younger women see no damn potential in no older men.
No, I think they see security, money, and I think they see security, money, and maybe some ease in their life, especially if they've got kids and that kind of stuff. I think that's what they see.
And I think
many of them, not all of them, not
older
say
male,
all of them.
And we're not speaking for, because people will come.
We can't talk for everybody.
For all of them, but I do think too that older men sometimes look at the younger woman and think that they can help them to be established, help them to be more on that road of what they're trying to do, because they feel like I've already done what I need to do, but I can help you get there. Wait, Brian, you're shaking your head. What's that? Talk to me.
I'm just gonna keep it real. Sometimes it's just a status thing. It's just, hey, I got this little cutie on my phone and all my boys looking at me. That's all it is. Sometimes that's just simple. I think the problem, I'm like Mark, and I didn't catch Mark, your age?
I'm 53.
Okay. So Mark is probably, using his age, is probably about as far back as I was looking at a woman. I think once you break the late 40s, sometimes there's some disconnect. But the biggest problem with dating somebody 61 is that if you're an active male, you need an active female. I don't want anybody that I would have to date, that I would have to take out on Fridays and Saturdays, and that's our yeah, we can go out Friday night, we can do something Saturday, but Sunday I got to start getting ready for work. And Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday is work days, because there's things that you can do activity wise early in the evening, especially during the summer months, and be very active. And a lot of times, and I say this because I talk, you know me, D, I talk all the time.
Yeah.
So when you're talking to some of these women, what you're gonna do after you get off? Well, I'm gonna go home, I'm gonna clean my house, I'm gonna do my yard work. And I'm thinking, the yard will still be there. Let's go grab something to eat. Let's go to a movie. Let's do this. And the priorities change. My priorities is like 40 plus years of being a parent, you know,
Yeah.
and designing and spending a lot of your years navigating around AAUs and PTAs and college. And you know, and one thing I did say, my baby girl, 3 out of 5 gonna have her master's by September. So all the groundwork that
Congratulations.
she did the work, she did everything, but the foundation was through the parenting. And
Yeah.
once you get through all of that, now all of a sudden, and this is where I really think I'm about to turn the corner, but I'm gonna bring it home. Women forget how to take care of themselves. They so busy continuing to worry about everybody else that they forget that they're a woman. They deserve to be treated nicely and all those things. And sometimes they put that on the back burner for everything else. And that's what you find a lot of times as you get older. People want to make sure everybody else okay versus, hey, it's your time.
Mhm, mhm. So there was a comment we did a relationship episode, and there was a comment that was on YouTube from a male's perspective. And the comment was, and I'm going to paraphrase here, but the comment was, a lot of times we as older men don't date older women because they've let themselves go. They don't take care of themselves, and they're still worried about their older children or whatever the case may be, and they have attitudes. And this is why you don't. You remember that comment, Kamisha?
Yes, especially the black
Yeah.
ones. We always got attitude.
Yep. And that's what he said. That's what he said. So do you, because I'm hearing you, Brian, and I'm hearing a little bit. I mean, you're putting it way more eloquently than he said it, but I'm hearing that a little bit, where you're saying that when women this age, is like they forget. And it's true, we do forget sometimes. We forget that we're important too, and we're steadily still trying to take care of the masses because we've been in servitude for so many years, and it's almost impossible for us
It goes back to
flip the
what you
switch.
go ahead.
No, I'm saying it's almost impossible
Yeah.
for us to flip the switch. I mean, I've been married for 35 years, and me and my husband, we still go through it where he wants to do X, Y, and Z. And I'm like, no, honey, I can't. I need to help so-and-so with this, or, you know, or my daughter need me to pick up the grandbaby, so I can't do it. And I can literally feel and see the disappointment in his eyes, in his spirit, in everything. And I'll still go and do what my daughter wanted me to do and pick up the grandkids, knowing that he wanted to do something. It's like we are having a hell of a time turning that switch off from servitude to, serving me.
Mm-hmm. When you're in these long-standing relationship, Joe, you have to prioritize your partner.
Mm-hmm.
And that might come with you, and prioritize yourself and prioritize your partner too as well.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's just going to be more difficult at this age. I really do. I mean, I feel that as we get older, I mean, I don't believe that.
Gentlemen, I don't believe that.
I don't believe
I'm
that.
not saying
I'm
impossible.
totally
I didn't say impossible. I just said more difficult. And
neither one of them agrees.
Okay, that's fine.
All I got, here's my statement to. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay, what I was gonna say was, this is also based on just conversations we've had also with women. Like, we had an episode with a woman over 50 and some of the things she's been experiencing out in this dating sphere as well. And similar to what you're saying, Brian, she is a person who is active and she's looking for somebody who's active, and she's not necessarily looking for a person that's 35. But if you trying to date a 55-year-old man and he talking about he gotta go to, go home early because he needs some sleep, you know what I mean? Like, she's frustrated by that too. So what I'm saying is, it is, I think, the not that the pool is not there, but maybe it's just more challenging to connect with these people, even though we have these technologies. I think we touched on it a little bit. We have the dating, we have the online, you've got the DMs and all of this stuff, but we still aren't able to find the people that we are looking for. It's almost like all of those additional supports are making it harder to weed through to find them. Now, I'm not saying that you need to go way younger, you know what I mean, to find a woman who is more active, but it might be easier, right, to find a woman who is younger, who's more active, versus finding one who is, closer to your age, who's more active.
Yeah.
That's as an example, just as an example. But you can counter me.
Okay, I'm ready. First, I'm gonna go to Denise and Brian. And 35 years, I know a little bit. I know enough over the last 7 years. It's amazing. And you guys make it work, good, bad, indifferent, whatever. I know you have special circumstances. So that's the exception to a lot of the rules. I before E, except after C. You guys are that exception. But when we're going out here and you're dating, it goes back to my original conversation. Why are you out here if you're not ready for what may come along towards you? I mean, it's that simple. If you're out here, you're wanting to be in a relationship, clean your house up. It's that simple. Get your house in order so that when you get blessed with that opportunity, male or female, you're ready for it. Nobody wants to come in and, need a broom and a mop. I'd want to come in and bring new furniture and build a life. I'm not trying to finish up a life that basically in some cases should have been finished several years ago, because nurturing at a certain point turns into enabling. And then this is the product that your daughters, friends, and everybody else got to deal with, because you've turned it from nurturing to enabling, and then you don't know the difference. True Black men, and I'm going totally Black here, know the difference of when you overdoing it versus you've done a great job.
Yeah.
And it's that simple. I mean, and I agree with you, Denise. It's a lot harder to turn off once you turn it on. But if you're going to make yourself a priority, there's some things that you got to be willing to lay to the side. If somebody at home hungry, I guarantee you, they're going to find a way to eat. They're not going to need you to come in there and cook a gourmet meal unless you invite me over. But I'm just saying, sometimes you got to make yourself first. And I find women have a hard time, and it goes all the way back to the way they started. It's understanding that you got to make yourself first. It's okay for you to be happy. It's okay for you to do the things you do. You shouldn't feel guilty about any of the things that you're trying to do as you go on to the next part of your life. Most people at 50, their kids are grown. 55, the kids should really be gone. 60, if they still at home, you enabling. You enabling, unless they're your grandbabies and there's certain situations or medical circumstances, you gotta move on. Because if you don't, you are the reason Mark ain't dating. That's part of the reason Mark ain't dating up to his age. And that's definitely a reason why those women struggle in relationships, because they trying to find a balance, and it shouldn't be a balance. If this is the person you're going to choose to be your mate, and y'all decide that y'all want to become one, it's not one plus, it's one. And everything else is the plus on the other side. You're not making it less important, you're separating them correctly.
Let me ask you a question, because you when you said that 1 + 1 is not 2, is 1. What are some of the deal breakers? I had a conversation with a couple few weeks ago, and me and Brian was talking to them, and their relationship is really shaky, and we were talking with them, and they were saying that they have separate bank accounts. They have separate this, separate that. And I thought to myself, it's almost like they're self-sabotaging their relationship metaphorically, like this is separate, this is separate, this is separate. Well, the Bible says that once you marry, you're one, you know? So I find that and so it made me research it, and Kamisha tell you, I be looking up all kind of random statistics. And one of the statistics I looked up is marriages who have separate bank accounts, you know, how many lead to a divorce or separation. And there was this very high number about divorces, and when they dig down into the relationship, they had separate this, separate that, separate this. What do you believe in that? Do you believe that everything should be one? And what is a deal breaker?
I believe deal breakers financially. I think, let me go back to your question, because there's other deal breakers that would deal break in a relationship, like a woman who does hard drugs, those things I wouldn't deal with at all.
Yeah.
Disrespect, not at all.
Yeah.
You know, so those boundaries would be set. But going back to like separation of lives, at some point in time, I think you do have to come together as one. And that's that whole alignment. And if that is a financial alignment that you'll have, but you still want some of your independency, you can get a joint account and align for like household things, bills, items, where you work towards that. And then you can have your own independent account too as well. Yeah, it doesn't have to be all poured in, but you know, I still think people can have some of their independency. But when it's just separate this, separate that, you're more in a roommate situation that might allow for that separation of communication, those things. So I think there can be like some jointness when it comes to financial alignment. And I think everything has to be aligned in that way in terms of like responsibilities of the house. I'm a true component that things are 50-50, but they cannot be 50-50 and sustainable. A man has certain roles that a woman should and cannot do, and then a woman has certain roles that a man should cannot do either, you know, and those have to be meshed in together, because there's days where I'm only going to give 20% and she might have to give 80.
Absolutely.
And then reverse that too.
Absolutely.
And then when we're aligned in that fact of, hey, we're going forward together, that's what makes the one, you know, so like those things have to equal up. And that's what I believe. And that's where that one is, not the one plus, but that's where that one should be.
Yeah.
I feel like you all are talking about marriage. This is what I'm hearing. 1 + 1 is 1. That's marriage. 1 + 1 is, you know, if you are at this age, let me just ask this question. Is that what you're looking for at this age? Because we've also learned that there's this new kind of relationship for people our age called LAT, but it stands for living apart together. These living apart together relationships where someone, I don't know, or both of the people are not really interested in a traditional kind of marriage and a traditional kind of coming together and moving in together. It's like, no, we can be together, we can be monogamous, we can choose each other, but I want to keep my place. You know, I want to still maintain some of my independence. I've, you know, gotten to a point where, you know, I am established maybe in a financial way or whatever, or maybe they have a house and they don't really want to sell it, you know, kind of thing, where they're like, I don't want that kind of traditional relationship at this age. Is that something that you two are open to at this age?
I'm still looking for marriage.
Okay.
You know, I want that experience. I want that partnership. I want that security. I want to be able to build with that person too as well. So that's where my mindset is through that experience. I think it's just finding that person. And this is what it's so funny. Like men, we go for love, those things, but we're not really going for love per se in our relationship. Like we love you, but you know what I'm looking for? I'm looking at the fact at enough confidence in a woman that she can now in my space that she, if something happened to me, that she is capable enough or I'm confident enough that she can hold it down while I get back on my feet or create that generational wealth passing down. Like it's a more of a confidence factor that I'm looking for in a relationship with that partnership, with that love. If that makes sense. That's just where I am right now. So for me to have okay, if I'm in a relationship and you're living here and I'm living there and you choose to live here with your own independence and I do, that's just looking at it like we're just dating for me.
Yeah.
I personally am in a space where I am talking from a unit of one. Let's build one. You know, and you can have yours, I got mine, let's put them together, let's mesh them together.
What about you, Brian?
I think as one, you know, after a while, I don't know, saying it lightheartedly, packing up a little overnight bag for a weekend stay, going back and back and back and forth, back and forth. After a while, if you know she the one and she know you the one and y'all doing everything as one, make it one.
Yeah.
I mean, that is that simple. But I go back to something Mark said earlier. It's aligning your values. You can't be one until the values are aligned. And those alignments don't always necessarily come from your own beliefs. It may be something else that has your distraction that you need to figure it out in order to get your values together. But yeah, if we're to that point where every time I'm going out, doing anything, we always together, blah, blah, blah. I'm like Mark, you're trying to build something, you're trying to, all the things that you can see. Yeah, I wouldn't, from a financial aspect, I think you're wasting money because why do we need to go to the store and buy two of everything to two separate households when half of that money would go right back into, like, I mean, you know, if you're saving $2,000-3,000 a month from not paying a second rent or mortgage, that's life-changing money over a 10-year period. And you invest it right, you know, y'all set for your golden years. And I look at it like that. I just living apart together, yeah, I wouldn't vote on that one. She wouldn't get a positive vote from me on that one if we to a certain
Yeah, it's
point
a
in our
thing.
life.